Hello, everyone. It is day 14 of Black History Month, where we celebrate Black History 365 and sometimes 366. Because it's the 14th day, that is what? Valentine's Day. So you know I had to do it in love. You see my shirt, it's love. Today we are talking about Loving versus Virginia. Now, if you don't know, Loving versus Virginia is the famous Supreme Court case in 1967 that ruled that banning of interracial marriages is unconstitutional according to the 14th Amendment. Now, the case came about because of Richard Loving and Mildred Loving, who were married in 1958 in the state of course, Virginia. Now, the two of them actually knew each other since childhood, essentially. So Richard was a family friend, and Mildred and Richard met when she was 11 years old and he was 17 years old. Now, before you go crazy, yes, it was a different time, but no, they didn't actually start dating until much later, years later, when they started dating on and off. Now, as you can see, they are obviously different races. They're an interracial couple. Richard was Irish and English, and Mildred was actually Black and Native American. Now, as I said earlier, they dated on and off for years, for a couple of years, until finally Mildred found out that she was pregnant, and they said, okay, let's go get married. Now, Mildred already had a child from her previous relationship, but they wanted to go ahead and get married after they found out that she was pregnant with their first child. So they left and went to Washington, D.C., which allowed for interracial marriages. They got married there and then came back into Virginia to live. Now, once they returned there, they were arrested. The sheriff came into their house around like 2 a.m. in the morning because of an anonymous tip. And they asked Mr. Loving, like, why are you in bed with this woman? He said, this is my wife. And they grilled him. And then they both got arrested. They were ultimately charged with violating the Racial Integrity Act of 1924, Virginia's Racial Integrity Act. And they were sentenced to 1 year in jail, and then they were told that they could avoid that sentence if they lived out of the state and never returned together for 25 years.